Hey everyone, I am asked now and then why I record these videos about Bitcoin, or why do I post so much content about Bitcoin, or why am I why do I bother? Why do I care so much, et cetera, et cetera. And so I figured I'd answer that. I've answered it in writing a few times, but it's been a while, so I'll answer it by video. So the answer is because when I find things that I think are transformational, that are good, that are healthy, that are helpful, and that can positively impact the world, I can't resist telling people about them. So I'm a Christian, so I tell people about Jesus. I am a happily married guy, and so when people are having marital problems, I do everything I can to help them through that and end up in a happy, healthy marriage, because I know how great a happy, healthy marriage is. I'm an advocate for having kids. I have 4 kids. I love my kids. And, if people want to talk about why you should have kids, I'm happy to tell you why it's very rich and meaningful, in spite of, the difficulties of anything, including kids. So with Bitcoin, when I get excited about something, because I think it has the potential to change the world and all of that, I can't help but tell people about it, because I feel like there's an old song in, church groups that, it says, hide it under a bushel, no, I'm going to let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm going to let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm going to let it shine. So that's just the way I feel about good news, whether it's the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ, or the good news of Bitcoin, or whatever it is. And lots of people are out there spreading the gospel on Facebook of Jesus Christ, and they're doing a probably much better job than I could. And so I figure, well, I'll record videos about Bitcoin, because most of the people that are covering a gazillion other bases are not recording videos about Bitcoin. So it's a niche that potentially I can help solve, that I can educate people, where I have a comparative advantage, as opposed to recording Bitcoin or recording Facebook live videos. I could be doing these about the gospel of Christianity. I could be doing these about marriage. I could be doing it about raising kids. I could be doing it about starting businesses. I could be doing it about numerous other things that I'm passionate about or good at. And the reason I do it on Bitcoin is I just feel like the people I know on Facebook have access to resources for those other things much more readily than they have access to resources about Bitcoin. Not that there's not a ton of Bitcoin resources out there, but just the average person's has no idea where to start, who's credible, how do they avoid scams. And I figure, well, if you know me and you trust me, and you followed my 8 years in politics, or 11 years building Baumgar Corporation, or my current work at Prospera, and if you like what I do, and I am a source of trusted truth, well, then I can be a source of trusted truth on Bitcoin, and you probably have better other sources of trusted truth for those other things, including your pastors and your, friends and your neighbors and all of that sort of stuff. So that's why I do this. I'll tell you one of the reasons I don't do this. My motivation is not if I can get all my friends buying Bitcoin, the price goes up. Bitcoin is a global asset that's worth more than $1 trillion, and if everybody who watched any of my Bitcoin bought as much Bitcoin as they could possibly afford, it would change the worldwide price by a penny? I mean, it's just it absolutely would have a completely irrelevant impact. I doubt all of the Bitcoin advocacy that I could do on Facebook and otherwise would change the price of Bitcoin enough to increase my net worth enough to buy a cup of coffee. It's highly unlikely I'm going to change the price of Bitcoin enough to even buy a cup of coffee over the course of 5 years. So that's not why I do it. Why I do it is because Bitcoin has had a transformational impact on my life, and I feel like it can have a transformational impact on your life. And anytime there's something that's transformational and good and healthy and true and right and, noble and noteworthy, I just want to talk about it. I want to share the good news of whatever that is. And Bitcoin is one of those things, an incredibly powerful technology, perfect monetary properties, genius technological design, constant worldwide expansion, and all of which will be eventually reflected in the price. And so I feel very much like, the water level is rising in the global economy. The Bank of Japan has had interest rates at 0. They tried to raise interest rates by 0.25% to stop the yen from slipping into significant inflation. They're having serious inflation problems, but they're trying to keep it from slipping into hyperinflation. So they raise the interest rate by 0.25%, and the whole world starts melting down because of the yen carry trade. And it's like, we live in a world that is drowning in debt, and the whole thing's, at some point going to come unglued. And there's going to be people that are in the lifeboat of Bitcoin, and there's going to be people who are not in the lifeboat of Bitcoin. And I would just rather everybody who I have the ability to reach be in the lifeboat of Bitcoin. So when the water level rises, they're not some of the people being financially drowned. So that's why I do it. I just feel like there's good and truth and justice and right in the world, and Bitcoin has a major role to play in all of that. And so I want to share that good news so it helps as many people as possible, so that more people are in the lifeboat, and so that more people in the future say, wow, Joel, Bitcoin really, really, really helped me avoid the rising, tide waters of inflation and monetary debasement and all of that. And I would much rather a lot of people tell me that than hearing stories about how people got completely screwed over by the economy and, interest rates and inflation and all this sort of stuff that is being completely manipulated by central banks. So if I can save you from the evils of central banking and currency debasement and all of that, I'm going to do everything I can to do that. And so doing these videos is part of the way I try to do that, because I feel like I can make Bitcoin is something that can make your life better. And, if I can be a part of sharing that, my experience with Bitcoin and the technology behind Bitcoin, it has the ability to make your life better as well, directly related to how much of it you buy and how much you own. So anyway, as always, hope it's helpful. Have a great day.